And as I look out over the hall of the Mission to Seafarers, with nobody in it other than our tech team, it's an interesting way to start this year's Maritime Art Prize and Exhibition. So welcome, distinguished guests, sponsors, artists, staff that are actually here, volunteers that are online, and our guests. Welcome. I'm Sue Dyatt, I'm the Chief Manager, and it's my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the Mission to Seafarers Board to welcome you to the opening event of our Maritime Art Prize and Exhibition. We'd like to acknowledge elders past, present and emerging of all of the communities on all the lands, wherever you are, that are here with us this year. And thank you to everyone that's logged in tonight. There's nothing we look forward more than to welcoming you back to the mission to enjoy our hospitality. So I'm hoping you've all got a glass and ready to celebrate with us. So I'm going to do a quick plug. For those of you that haven't yet bought your raffle tickets, you can still buy your raffle tickets tonight because one of the prizes is our hospitality here at the mission. We've got one of the prizes is a party for 20 in the courtyard, and the other prize is courtesy of the Port Phillip Sea Pilots, so you can go and see some of those big ships out at the heads. Grab a ticket on our website. Now, the aim of tonight is to remind everyone just how important our work is, how the Maritime Art Prize is valued in its objectives of raising the profile of the global community of seafarers whom we care for here at the mission. And I say here because they are still here with us in our hearts. And this fundraising is to support that objective. There's been a number of incidents alone this year that have highlighted the harsh and dangerous conditions that the seafarers all work in. And we all know, especially here in Victoria, how hard it is to be so isolated. Having a meal with the same people day in, day out. And that's what our seafarers are going through. But we don't have as dangerous conditions. We're all looking forward to getting out and sharing a meal with someone else, enjoying the normal things in life. Normally when the seafarers are here, they join us in the mission. We pick them up in our buses, we bring them back here, even if they only have 4 hours shore leave. We all know how hard it's been with only an hour as our recreational time. 4 hours isn't long when it's weeks between your breaks. Some of our seafarers at the moment have no prospect of going home without international flights. Borders are closed. So it's especially poignant at the moment that our work is continuing. We've pivoted the business here and we're now caring for seafarers online. Our chaplain, Innie, has over 2,000 Facebook friends as seafarers. He has made over 30 direct interventions with ships being detained in port to ensure that the seafarers' welfare is cared for. And we shop for them. I've never shopped so much in my life. We're shopping for the basics, the treats, the socks, the chocolates, the games to keep them as sane as possible. Gifts we have for them when possible. And some of the gifts have come through Goods 360, one of our partners, and thanks to Palmolive. And today we received a pallet full of books that we can share with those seafarers. We've been shopping for pizza, Hungry Jack's. By the way, Hungry Jack's wins over McDonald's. I have learnt that ding dongs are a really nice Filipino snack. Jack and Jill chips, really hard to come by in Melbourne, but we've found a way. Most of all, the seafarers don't complain, and we know that they trust us. They trust us to get what they need. They trust us to care for them. They trust us with their money. And only yesterday, we picked up cash from a ship and deposited it into accounts through Western Union so to reach their loved ones at home. We're taking care of their families as well. We're on hand to offer the care, supplies, odd pair of glasses, welders, 365 days a year. But we couldn't operate without our wonderful team. And everyone here at the mission, and it's a small team, and all of our volunteers who unfortunately can't come into the mission, who are still helping us. We hope that everybody is able to rejoin us here soon. We just have to wait to the announcements on the weekend. Now to the Art Prize. We received over 200 submissions this year, from which our selecting team got it down to 107. This year we weren't limited by walls and wall space, so we expanded the selection this year. We want to thank the artists. Without the artists, this exhibition is nothing. Their contribution by actually paying an entry fee continues to help our work. Without you, there's no show. Thank you, artists. So, prepare yourself to be moved, inspired, as the evening and the theme of humanity and the relationship to the sea is encouraged and explained through the works that you will see and the works that were selected as winners. To all of those who are looking for something new and a bit of decor, all of the works are for sale. You only have to click on the link and send us an email and we can arrange the purchase for you. All works will be delivered directly to you. They may come via the mission, they may come directly from the artist. You also have the opportunity to vote for your favourites by the People's Choice Awards. So we're not going to stretch this out too long tonight. And here's the moment you've been waiting for. We are going to commence awarding the prizes. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Neil Edwards. He's the chairman of the Mission to Seafarers. He's been the chairman for a number of years and we enjoy his leadership and guidance, and he is here to welcome you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue, and thanks for that great introduction. Let me add briefly my welcome to all participating, especially to my fellow mission board members, but also to the board members of our partner organisation seeking to create a joint Seafarers Centre. But my real job is to issue the thanks on behalf of the Mission to Seafarers, to thank everyone who has made the 2020 National Maritime Art Prize possible. First to Sue and her small team at the mission. In trying circumstances, Sue and team, well done. Second, to our sponsors, without whom we could not finance this year in, year out. Our award sponsors this year, Gulf Agency, VICT, and Neville and Company. Our major sponsors, the Port Phillip Sea Pilots and the Port of Melbourne Corporation. Our lead sponsors, Riverlea and Maritime Super. And our art show sponsors, OSSA, the First Fleet Fellowship, DNVGL, Rotary Melbourne South, TT Club and Cusack and Company. We are glad you can join us here online. Let me also thank our Art Prize judges, Graham Williams OAM, Catherine de Boer, John Lyons AM. You judges have had a particularly hard task in 2020. The standard of works has been very high and you have had to assess them virtually. I don't envy you that. Thanks for that effort. Sue will introduce each of you formally soon. But most especially, as Sue said, we all have to thank the 200 or so artists who have submitted works. Thanks for the tough task you set the judges. Thanks for laying your souls bare for the poignant theme for the 2020th prize, Humanity in the Sea. And thanks for the delight your works will give us all. We are in awe of you and we are in your debt. We wish you the best of luck in the awards themselves.
Wow.
And we also hope that you will enjoy the success of selling your great work. Finally, again, thanks everyone for joining tonight. And I urge you to take the time to browse all of the great work selected. Take your time and think about buying one or two. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Neil. And I've lost audio, so I'm doing this purely on visual cues for everyone that's on a screen going forward. Graham Williams is a newly minted Doctor of Art, where he received his degree from a Master of Arts at Deakin University. He focused on socio-cultural reading as one of Melbourne's most significant private art collections, and he's a member of the ICOM, and I'm really going to struggle to say this, Conseil International des Musées. He's a committee member of the International Committee of Modern Art. He has also, his doctorate was from Federation University. He's been focusing on the art scene from 1851, on a role of the Victorian Artists Society. He's a retired architect and he devotes his life to his passion for Australian art. He's an established collector of Australian art and a regular attendee at the Venice Biennale, Compara and Art Basel. Graham has been the head of selectors or the head of judges for the last couple of years whilst I've been involved, and he does a magnificent job and we thank him. Catherine de Boer is an influential Melbourne-based artist and photographer, and since the 90s, she's captured landscapes in places in wildlife, in people in over 30 countries. Commencing her art and design career in Tasmania, she worked as an art consultant to government before moving to Darwin, where she became known for her interiors consultancy of Government House. Since then, Catherine's continued to develop her fine art collections, working as a lecturer of art and design, an art curator and a commissioned artist. She's now an author of a fine set of photo books based on our diminishing wild world, the beautiful books. And John Lyons, AM, is the patron of the Art Prize. After many years working as the chair and CEO of A&L, he almost established with us the A&L Art Prize. He has gone out into business on his own. He holds a Bachelor of Business in Transport and Economics, extensive experience in container shipping across the world. He's an avid collector of art, and he has provided us with his experience and his guidance in this year's selections of winners. So we thank them all for that, and it was a very difficult task. So now on to the prizes. Catherine, who is one of our judges, is going to introduce and announce the Emerging Artist Award. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Sue. The judges felt that this was a very well contested section of the awards. There were many artists who obviously emerging in very exciting ways and quite innovative and unique in their visions of the world. We felt that third place, I'll start with third place, so the three awards for this section. Third place, the judges felt that the the artwork that we selected was particularly engaging for its juxtaposition of Indigenous painting with the traditionally painted fish species in the art, and also with a more influential and traditional background, which is probably more associated with the European traditions. It was a lovely blend of influences. We're so impressed with the artist's close connection with the land. The third place goes to Shannon Cassell, Aboriginal artist from Dubbo, New South Wales, and the artwork is entitled My Connection. Thank you and congratulations, Shannon. Second place. The artwork we selected for second place was almost magical and engaging, and such an endearing portraiture of a young boy, a sailor, wearing a sailor hat, listening to his older grandparent. And it just captured the intergenerational sharing of stories, and it had just a beautiful narrative to it. So congratulations, Stephen Hess. The artwork is entitled And the Waves Were as Big as a Mountain. It was an oil on canvas. And now to the final, first place in this section. This was a standout in the judges' opinion. The subject of this artwork is the refugee and novelist Behrouz Boochani. It captures his struggles as he arrives on a boat being held in detention in Manus Island, from where he was transmitting his novel of his struggles to the world on his iPhone. He's now settled in New Zealand as a novelist. So appropriate to our times in COVID 2020. The artwork is an evocative and thought-provoking environmental portrait of Boochani. First place goes to Benedict Sibley, and their work is entitled All Men Will Be Sailors. Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Catherine. And I'm back online so I can hear everything. It's great. So congratulations, Benedict. Are you there?
Yes.
Is Benedict online?
Yep. Hi.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Benedict. I'm just wondering how there was inspiration for your work.
Well, firstly, thank you so much. I'm genuinely surprised because it was a quite a strong sort of political theme to the work, and I'm surprised that that kind of wasn't too jarring to some people. But I spent in my master's study, I spent a couple of years doing work surrounding dispossession and sort of the plight of refugees. So, and mainly in connection with the sea. My mother was a refugee and my father was a economic migrant from England, and my mum was from Lithuania. So I sort of have a great feeling of gratitude for being in a lucky country like Australia. So, and I think the generosity that we showed in the 50s should be ongoing. And I really believe that it was a shame that we actually let Behrouz Boochani down by not allowing him and his fellow refugees to settle in Australia. So it's more about bringing that issue to bear, and also it's, yeah, I'll leave it at that. It's
Thank you, Benedict.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Well, congratulations. And we hope to see the work in its full entirety at some point.
It actually looks a lot better in real life.
Well, that's the challenge of an online exhibition.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Benedict. So now we are moving on to the next prize, and it's for the best traditional work. Now, Golf Agency are based in Sydney, and they've got a few freedoms. So when the managing director said to me, I'm out for a boozy lunch, I was very jealous. And so he asked me to present this prize. So we are going to go through the highly commended works in this category. And there were a significant amount of highly commended works because of the quality of the subject matter. There were a number of artists that responded to the theme in different ways, but we enjoyed all of their works, and we'll move them through really reasonably quickly. Okay, so the first one is Tim Baker, highly commended for his work, Beached. The next one is Susie King, Rarely Seen and Dangerous. And this particular painting was noted because as he fell, his lifeline detached from the shipside railing and he disappeared into the water. The artist's statement really brought the message home about the dangers for the seafarers. The next one is Colin Shaw. It's a beautiful pastel work, also highly commended, a pastel on board, time for some TLC. And we all feel that we need a little TLC at the moment. And the shadows and the water and the reflections of Pat Mackenzie's work of Dry Dock was also highly commended. Now, we mentioned earlier that the judges had a really difficult time. And so they've gone into, I've just lost the PowerPoint presentation. I'm guessing it's a power issue. So I'm going to have to hold these up. You need a power connection. Could I grab a power connection, please? So in second place as the best traditional work, Birthing at Brisbane, Don Braben. Oh, we're back. There we go. Equal second place. And we also have Jason Roberts' Monolith for the best traditional works. And the winner this year, it gives me great pleasure to announce, the only artist that has ever participated in the annual art prize for every one of its 18 years is John Woodland and his work Taronga and Changay. So congratulations, John. Do we have John online? I'm waiting for the vision switching. There we go, there's John. Hi, John.
No.
Congratulations.
Unmute. Yeah, rightio. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to hear that news. Thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome, John. And I know that you've been painting with us for the exhibition for 18 years. What inspires you and why this particular prize?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the mission, I hold it very dearly in my heart because they do a service to the seafarers, which quite frankly, most of us overlook. We tend to think in terms of the difficulties that people had years ago in sailing vessels, but the poor souls who occupy the roles on container ships these days, they're subjected to a lot of difficulty. They're away from their homes for many, many months at times, and they have very long shifts. And even as you mentioned earlier in the program, that when they actually do get to port, they have perhaps very little shore leave. Now, I first actually visited the mission when I was working with the Australian Stevedoring Industry Authority back in 1964, and it was a fairly, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but it was a very unimposing building. It was very grey and up the sort of upper reaches of the water there. And when I was working down in Pickett Street, I'd see the mission, and I used to look at the tugs that are running around. And the one I painted in this particular prize was a Taronga. And at that particular time when I saw it in 1964, it was owned by Howard Smith. But it set out in its life. The painting I did depicts it back in the early 50s when it was under its original ownership. But may I say this from the outset, that the mission is a wonderful institution, and it's operated in Melbourne under very difficult circumstances. And like every Australian, we've been heartbroken by the circumstances that you have had to suffer this year. So I would urge everyone to try and support the mission and its objectives. Now, coming up, of course, after this, there'll be an opportunity to either purchase tickets for a raffle or purchase the paintings. So I'd just like to say that, and also perhaps in closing, besides the mission, I want to thank my dear wife Sue, who puts up with me all the time. And I'd like to say to all the emerging artists, look, if I can hang around for this long and persevere and win this award, then you've got the same opportunity as well. So good luck to you.
Well done. Thanks, John. All right. Thanks very much, John. We're going to move on to the main prize, and we have a runners-up award. Now, as I mentioned,
You mentioned about painting.
we have the highly commended awards first, and then it was a difficult decision, but Peter Neville will tell you about the difficult decision. So I'll run through the highly commended works first. First up, we have John Barcham's work, In the Blood. We have Catherine Stringer's work, Ghost Schooner. And what you can't tell from the vision here is that it is on handmade paper from marine algae and ground charcoal. It's a beautiful, deep work. And then we have Bridget Thomas's work. Bridget this year was inspired by the ships that were detained. I mentioned one of those earlier. And we also have Gregory Cliff's work. It looks like it's inspired by a Dutch master, but you know I'm no art expert. So now we move on to the Neville and Co Award for the runners-up. So I'd like to hand over to Peter Neville. He's the CEO of Neville and Co, and he has always been a great supporter of the mission. He provides us with great pro bono work as a commercial lawyer, and I know that his team's dispersed at the moment, as is ours, but they've been working very hard for the mission over this last 12 months as well. And I thank Peter for his work and commend them as commercial lawyers if you require anyone. So Peter, I'm handing over to you now, if you'd like to make your announcements. Peter, do we have you? Peter? No, we're missing Peter Neville. Technical people, do we know have Peter? No? Okay.
Hello?
Oh, there he is.
Okay, good. I haven't got you. All right. Sue, Neil, committee, judges, artists, thank you. I think at the moment we're all a little over-zoomed and under-groomed, as Kathy Lett said. We seem to spend our life doing Zoom meetings. This is our 12th year as pro bono lawyers for the mission, and that's been a pleasure. It's also our 7th year as a sponsor for the Art Prize. Nigel Porteous, one of the committee members, has a lot to answer for, of course, because it's the first time in my life I've ever figured out that we have to pay to be pro bono lawyers. It's a wonderful thing. Without further ado, I want to announce the runner-up prize, and this year it's a joint announcement of Orlando Durades Valdor and Mark Seabrook. And Orlando did a prize called Get Lost to Find Yourself, and Mark did The Catch. Now, occasionally we give advice on people that come and ask us or tell us that they want to find themselves. And my advice is generally be careful what you're looking for, because you mightn't like what you find. Orlando's from Cuba, Santiago de Cuba. Many years ago, I had the pleasure to go to Cuba. And in fact, I even went down to Santiago de Cuba. I went there primarily to have a look where Hemingway had been, to go to the Bar Floridita and drink those wonderful daiquiris they had there and wander around. Now, his work is capable of many, many interpretations. To me, it immediately sprung to mind was The Ancient Mariner. It's a picture that's alone and everything all alone, words from The Ancient Mariner. And it also reminded me of Moby Dick as well, because in a way it's sort of calm among chaos, which is, I guess, part of the allegorical tale of Moby Dick. Mark, The Catch, I will never, ever take those plastic little bottles of soy sauce when I have sushi ever again in my life. You've turned me right off. I like the dark humor very much. I like the social commentary. I guess I'm qualified for both. I'm a fisherman and I also live in Fitzroy in the dark side of town. Congratulations to you both. And let me finish by saying, gentlemen, the check's in the mail. Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Peter. And we have Orlando and Mark online. So let's start with Orlando. Orlando, are you there? Maybe not. All right, Mark, how about we start with you then?
Thank you very much. Overwhelmed. Thanks, Sue and Peter and Orlando. I'm in shock. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So, Mark, obviously, you know, plastics are a thing for you. So why this particular tuna catch, the work, the people, what was it that gave you this inspiration?
Well, first of all, I thought it would be funny, but I mean, we are running out of fish and filling the ocean with plastic. So I think it is a problem that needs to be addressed, and we don't seem to be doing much about it. So the environmental message is prevalent.
It's a fabulous work. Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for entering, and I look forward to seeing it again in detail, because I think some of the depth will come through.
Thank you very much.
And Orlando, do we have you? Possibly not. No, he's in shock. There we go. Okay, so we'll move on, because I'm conscious I want to finish by 6:45 so that you can all get onto the gallery and see all the works and make some purchases. So I'm now going to introduce again to you John Lyons. John has been a patron of the Art Prize for a number of years, and we officially made him the patron this year. So John, I'd like to introduce you to take up and announce the major winner.
Thank you, Sue. Hello, everybody. It's a great pleasure for me to be involved with the Maritime Art Show. It's actually, there's not any year that I can recall since the beginning that I haven't attended in one way or another. I haven't been able to make the night, but I've managed to get across to the mission and have a look at the artworks. And I can say categorically that this year has been a very high standard. And as one of the judges, we found it extremely difficult to select a winner. And but we did, as we must. And therefore, it is my very great pleasure to announce that Rodney Forbes is the winner of the Maritime Art Award for this year. Rodney's painting, A Submariner Dreams of Home, is a high quality work of art, keeping to the theme of humanity and the sea and delivering a high level of originality. One could say that the painting is very topical with today's COVID restrictions of a man confined to a small space, dreaming of better days. And I think we're all been in that situation here in Victoria. I'm sure you will all join with me in congratulating Rodney on his win. Thank you very much. Is that you, Rodney?
I'm here.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What caused you to go in this direction with your art?
John, well, when I was a young man, I worked for 7 years at a naval dockyard, and I actually went aboard an Oberon-class submarine during that time, and I was really struck by the claustrophobic nature of that accommodation, and I've loved the work that the mission to Seafarers does in Melbourne in helping. Melbourne is a real seafaring city. It's one of those cities like Liverpool and Glasgow that is a crossroads of cultures, and it's what makes Melbourne such a fabulous city that immigrants arrive here first. So those two things have come together to maybe have a constant stream of work about maritime matters in my work, and I'm grateful that Australian galleries have encouraged me in that pursuit. So the work is about, I guess, that feeling of compassion for seamen who are away from home and missing home and dreaming of that place.
Nothing to do with COVID then?
Well, I have to say it wasn't inspired by that, but it certainly, how the things that are happening around you seep into what you do, and so I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Yes. Okay, well, you've done a very good piece of work, and you should be very proud of yourself, and congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Over to you, Sue.
Thanks, John, and thanks, Rodney. Rodney, it's a sterling piece of work, and I know that you've entered for a number of years, and this one has touched us completely. COVID-19 has really thrown everything out. The spanner, in the works, and all the rest of it. So I've missed someone on the run sheet, and I've missed Dr. Graham Williams, the chairman of Selectors, and I know he'd like to say something about Rodney's work and what we do here. So Graham, I'm going to flick across to you if you're available now. You're muted there, Graham.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
How's that? Look, it was around 2015 I was first asked to assist on the selection panel of the Mission for Seafarers. And the following year, I was asked to join the judging panel. In that time, the mission has become family, and there are a lot of volunteers involved in staging this award each year, and many of the judges have put aside busy schedules to judge. The judges themselves I've just got a reminder to put my thing on. Judges themselves are a disparate lot, practicing artists, collectors, academics and even sponsors, but we all seem to get along. And after a robust discussion, we are always unanimous as to the ultimate winner in each category, though it's never ever clear cut. The one constant of the prize, apart from its popularity amongst artists, is that the standard of the submitted works each year reaches a new height. This year was no exception, and despite the pandemic, it attracted digitally submitted entries from all over Australia. Like many art prizes, it has its regulars, whether they be amateur or professional artists who submit in the knowledge not only that it assists a good cause, but also it is arguably the nation's leading marine art event. All entrants are eligible for the major prize, which is based on a theme. And there are also other prizes targeted at specific artists, such as Traditional Maritime Award and the Emerging Artists Award, which you've seen earlier. This year, one of the place getters in the Emerging Artists Award was a young Indigenous artist from country New South Wales, and I was particularly pleased to see that. Although this year's judging resulted in the main award going to established artists, it was far from clear-cut due to the high standard of entries and their different approaches to the theme. The winner, Rodney Forbes, who first submitted works for the award in 2016, has always demanded attention. We felt that this work not only captured the essence of the theme, humanity and the sea, but the fact that it was based on the lot of a submariner resonated with us. Not only was it a damn fine painting, but also very pertinent considering the whole of Melbourne is in lockdown with a pandemic, similarly without contact with loved ones. Forbes is a master of irony, and there are many layers embedded in this work, making it a worthy response to the theme. Forbes has responded thoughtfully to the theme, utilising cartoon-like imagery and injecting humour, resulting in a deeply engaging work that invites extended contemplation of the solitary life of the seafarer. Congratulations, Rodney, and congratulations, Sue, for putting on this event.
Thank you, Graham.
Thanks very much, Graham. Well, that brings us to the conclusion. And we thank you all for joining us. I have no idea how many people have joined us. It doesn't come up on my screens here. So I'm intrigued. I'll get the numbers shortly. I'm sure there's been a bit of Facebook chatter. But the all-important gallery, you'll need to go back to our webpage, to missiontoseafarers.com.au, to Art Prize, and look up the gallery, which is also the gallery.missiontoseafarers.com.au. So you've got a place to go and have a look at the winners, have a look at the art that was selected, make some selections of your own, purchase a raffle ticket, have a look at our website and see the work that we're doing overall. Thank you very much for joining us. And look, I'm even finishing on time. Zoom meetings do work. We look forward to seeing you all back here at the mission as soon as possible. As soon as we're allowed, we will be reopening the doors. We'll be open for seafarers, for our friends, for everybody to come and join us in this beautifully, newly renovated. You saw some of the renovations last year. The scaffolding's down, the front of the building looks gorgeous, and we just want to see you again. Thank you to the sponsors, to all of the artists, to all of my team, and see you all again next year. Thank you. Good night.
Good on you, Sue. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Sue. Well done.
Thanks, Sue.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.